Hello everyone, I'm Ryan the Cyber Hobbit, and it's time for another statue unboxing. Today I have a brand new miniature from Weta Workshop. This is the limited edition Gollum and Smeagol in Ithilien. This is a recreation of the iconically humorous scene in The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, where Gollum and Smeagol have a full back and forth conversation.
You don't have any friends.
This is a bit of a special miniature because it mirrors that scene, and like the name says, is actually two miniatures that can be combined together in a couple of ways to form a single statue. Also, I want to note that Weta actually has an open edition version called Golem Guide to Mordor, but that features only Golem and not Smeagol. Before we get into that though, I'd quickly like to share something with you that I've had my eyes on for quite a while that I recently bought from another collector. These are custom 3D printed replicas of Kili and Fili's smoking pipes from The Hobbit. I believe Weta used to actually sell a replica of Fili's pipe, but it's long been sold out, leaving the only option to pay over $1,000 on eBay, and since that'll never happen, I think these are a great option. I'll put a link in the description to an Etsy store called OP3D Lab that is selling these in case you're interested. These fit perfectly with Weta's Thorin pipe replica. Anyways, back to Gollum and Smeagol. Before I zoom in on the details, if it's not already apparent, I want to quickly go over the three display options. Now, obviously this works as two individual pieces. Maybe you want to keep them in separate rooms or something. But the intended display option would be to keep them together. And there are two ways to do that, either back to back, which would maybe be the safer option, or you can wall mount them and put them top and bottom. And they stay together because they each have a magnet inside. I did a bit of testing, and the magnets are actually pretty strong. They literally pull themselves together when held at just a couple of centimeters apart. And they also perfectly align themselves as well. If you try to misalign it, it pretty much autocorrects itself. On the back of Smeagol is a little hole that you'll use for wall mounting, which also means that when displayed, Golem will always be at the bottom, and it's not interchangeable. This also doesn't come with any wall mounting hardware, so you'll have to come up with that yourself. I'll personally probably keep them back to back, mostly for the preference of being able to move them easily, but having the option to clear some shelf space if I wanted is really nice. And now for a closer look, let's start with Golem. I think at this scale, this is actually a really great head sculpt, and it looks pretty accurate to what was seen in the films. Lots of visible texture on his skin, details on the strands of his hair. The paint application looks well done. I can see different tones on his skin, and his eyes are painted well. Here's a comparison to the 1/6 scale Enraged Golem. I honestly think this is just as good, it's just a smaller version. And I think I actually prefer the skin color on the miniature. The rest of his body looks great as well. Sort of malnourished looking and bony. You can see the scars on his back and his spine poking out. He's accurately dirty with grime all over his knees, feet, and hands. Also, am I just now realizing how creepy Golem's large hands are? The base is really nice too. Looks very accurate to the scene in the film. I know Weta doesn't do this because of degrading issues, but I feel like if the grass area had some sort of flocking material or some type of real looking grass, this could be taken to the next level. The rocky part of the base looks great. You can see tiny dots of all sorts of colors that's been washed over to look uniform. Really nice job. And now let's move on to Smeagol. His sculpt is excellent. His sort of childlike grin, again very accurate to the films. You gotta love how drastic the face change is. You can't help but really feel sorry for him. You can really see the hope in his eyes. Smeagol's life really is a sad story. Since this is a mirror statue, everything else is literally exactly the same as Golem, just in reverse. And I think this confirms that this statue definitely was sculpted digitally. The only tiny differences I can see are in the paint application, but none of them stick out enough to merit mentioning. It really looks all the same. So overall, I think this is one of the best miniatures Weta has made. It keeps the scale to the other miniatures they've made recently in case you wanted to pair them, and features one of the most well-known scenes that even casual fans may remember. The sculpt is great, the paint application is great. I honestly have no complaints. For what it is, for the size, for the price, I can easily see this being a piece for small collectors, or to simply give a gift to someone who enjoyed the movie. I give this statue a 9.8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscription button or press the thumbs up. That really helps YouTube to know this was a good video and to share it to more people. If not though, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.